Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. From touchdowns on liquid air on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What's going on, good people? Happy Monday night to you. Almost New Year's Eve, all that kind of good stuff. Not going to be with you too long. Just checking out the end of that Monday night football game. Detroit beat San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco was trying to hang on. And just as soon as I put out some positive vibes about Brock Purdy, the bottom fell out. And Detroit took advantage of it. Now, don't get me wrong, I took some notes and I saw some things that might come into play when it comes to Detroit later on down the line. And that's a couple of things that we need to talk about. I mean, it's Detroit is not without their faults. However, they have a very good team. Let's not get that twisted whatsoever. Dan Campbell is going to be aggressive at every turn. But for the most part, they played solid offense and defense. Had a couple gadget plays. They love their gadget plays, man. So I was just taking notes just for future reference. And the first thing I wrote down is San Francisco having success against the Detroit defense with play action. Now, already know that's a drum that I've been beating. And that starts with having your running backs in ace formation or pistol. If you in ace formation, that means the quarterback is under center. If you in pistol, your running back is still deep. But the one thing with play action, and San Francisco does it the best, man. Give props to Shanahan. They did it with CMC. They were doing it tonight with Garindo. I'm a fan of Garindo because I was watching him coming out of Louisville. You know how I feel about any athletes coming out of Kentucky, Louisville, Eastern Kentucky, Kentucky, University of Kentucky. So, but Garindo, big back, 225, running a 4.43. So yeah, and he had a good game tonight, man. They got him the ball. Get your playmakers the ball and let them make plays. I don't care if they're rookies. If you can get a good player the ball in space, let them do what they do. And San Francisco's been good about that. Now, Brock Purdy, he had a couple of errant throws where he just sailed the ball and cost himself a couple of picks, and then he got hurt. And I was just tweeting that, I don't think that San Francisco is going to give Brock Purdy a good contract. They're going to try to give him a contract. It's just not going to be a good one. He ain't going to get top money. So he got a choice to make. But the one thing about that is you either going to get a good free agent or you're going to get a quote unquote good draft pick, but you got to start that process over again. You got to teach them. They got to learn. They got to take their lumps. They got to go through all of this stuff, this 2-year campaign that Brock Purdy has gone through. And I know what's going to happen. Everybody's going to look at Bo Nix. Everybody's going to look at Jaden Daniels. Everybody's going to look at Michael Penix. And they're going to want that immediate success. And it's like, it don't work that way. It's been proven it doesn't work that way. Because all of these young quarterbacks, they're going to end up taking their lumps one way or the other. You think Purdy getting $30 million? We'll see. It'll be the biggest payday he gets. So he got a choice to make. You either go somewhere and get the bag, or you stay where you're comfortable. But the other part of that is Shanahan gonna stay? I think they would be crazy to get rid of him. You bound to have a bad year at some point in time. Everybody's susceptible to having bad years. So, um, but again, teams are impatient. Organizations are impatient. Even somebody with the history of San Francisco, they impatient. But you can look around the league, look at these organizations that just had patience and just made their moves and just got better and better and better. Look at the Eagles, look at Detroit. I mean, shit, you can even look at Tampa Bay, what they doing right now. Look at Minnesota. They finally look like they're going to get over the hump, but do they have enough to get to the Super Bowl? I don't know. I don't know. But you want to be in the race, and that's what it comes down to. They're in the race. We're in the race. Detroit is a great team. They're beatable. They're beatable. They got a great running back. They got a good offense. Jared Goff is throwing the ball all over the field, spreading it around, getting the ball to his playmakers, and they making plays. Every now and then, though, you saw it tonight when the kid got the penalty. Was that Branch? Got the unnecessary roughness penalty or unsportsmanlike or whatever that is. And every now and then, Detroit has a brain fart like that, and they love running those gadget plays too. Can't forget those gadget plays, man. But they're gonna get them gadget plays, and one of these times they're gonna go to that well once too often. So, but just some game observations, man, because I think we're going to end up facing Detroit to go to the Super Bowl. I think that's what it's going to come down to. Garendo, like I said earlier, had a game, and you know what? Again, props to freaking San Francisco. They did this for the last 2 seasons. The last 2 seasons, they get their running back the ball outside. They pitch them, they quick pitch them, they shallow pitch them, and then they pitch them outside. But they all do the same thing. They get the ball out, or they run that heavy play action. When I say heavy, I means all that means is just the quarterback is sticking that ball out. Quarterback is sticking that ball out. When you stick that ball out, Detroit was doing this for a little bit too. When you stick that ball out in play action, linebackers have got to move. It is instinctual, and you use that momentum against them. That is like a football play Aikido move. You use the momentum against the other team. Every time you stick that ball out, every time linebackers have to move, and it frees up the zone behind the linebackers. If you playing single high or too high and the safety has to come up to support, that means the deep middle is open. So you got to make a choice. That's the strategy of the offense, to get the defense out of positions to open up a zone for an easy pass or open wide receiver. That's the strategy of an offense. That's the ultimate chess match. You trying to get the defense out of position. And play action does it better than anything else. And when you give your running backs the ball, I saw this one play tonight by Debo. They brought him in motion and basically they jet sweeped him around the right side. And it's like, when you're going like that, they're not going to catch you in the corner. They're not going to do that. So you might as well go for it. Get the ball outside to your playmakers and let them race everybody to the corner. Even as good a defense as Detroit had, they can't stop that. Your linebackers are not going to be that fast. Not going to be that fast. So the offense always has the advantage, and that turns into another huge play action opportunity. And you just got to be able to take advantage of it. So I don't know what the deal is with our coaches, why we don't like to run and pitch our running back outside. I don't understand why we don't like to do that. We don't go off tackle enough. They are stuck at trying to go up the middle to our detriment sometimes. And it's like you open up the middle by stretching out the defense. It seems like Kellen Moore likes to do that backwards. They want to go inside first and then force them outside, and that's not the way to do it, in my opinion. Um, what other notes did I have? San Francisco short to mid passing game is effective. Again, that play action opens up that short to middle of the field, the zone right behind the linebackers. And that zone opens up when you pull the linebackers up. You got to make them take 2 steps up. And again, when you stick that ball out for play action, the linebackers got to respect, period, especially with Saquon back there. Especially with Saquon back there. I would be sticking that hand out every chance I got. The play action, if we ran that from under center, would be ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. If you want to run it from pistol, then run it from pistol. Whatever. Just run it. I get so sick of seeing all these other teams that have players that aren't as good as what we have on our offense. And to me, play action is a basic football play. You don't have to be some type of offensive guru to run play action. It don't take all of that. That's a simple play. It runs off, using the defense's instinct against them. And we don't do it enough. You can't run play action at a gun. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. The effectiveness is not there, in my opinion. It's not there. Frosty, I can't argue with that. But listen, I'm a running back, bro. I see meat left on the bone. What I see, yeah, we got the number 1 rushing attack, but let me be honest with you. In my opinion, Saquon should be coming up on 2,300 yards right now. That's what I think. So we got meat left on the bone. Saquon should be close to 2,300 yards right now. If we would run him more off tackle and pitch him outside. And I go back and you look at those games where he had, less than 5 carries in the first half, or just the crazy way we did it in the beginning of the year, and those opportunities that we missed to get him the ball. Yes, we won the games, but again, we left meat on the bone. And I've been saying this all year. We are a run first team. And it just took the Eagles a while to kind of get used to that and get into that. And in my opinion, that's a coach's ego, because we're so used to you got to have this type of quarterback. You got to be able to throw the ball 30 and 40 times a game, and that's not how we were winning. But they were trying to put that square peg in the round hole. We're winning this way, but they still want to go out there and throw 30 and 40 times a game, just to say they can do it, because that's what everybody else is doing. And my thing is always like, okay, if you want to name 10 other quarterbacks that's better than Jalen Hurts, go for it. All I know is all them quarterbacks ain't been to the Super Bowl. And the one quarterback that we had that everybody said couldn't be a franchise quarterback and take the team to the Super Bowl did just that. That's what I know. Jared Goff, he's still waiting for another opportunity after he took the Rams and took that L. So even Jared Goff, that's getting all the accolades and stuff like that now, he in the same boat as Jalen. They've been there and they lost. They took an L. Everybody giving the MVP. It's either going to go to Josh Allen or Lamar. Rightfully so. Neither one of them been to the Super Bowl. So it just seems to me, what's up, Philly? It just seems to me like they like to move the goalposts, man. They like to move the goalposts. So me as a running back, and I'm looking at it, and I see what they're doing, because dude, if you watch my live stream, man, I'm going crazy. Every time when they load 8 men in the box and we try to run up the middle, that frustrates the hell out of me. And then when the defense sets itself up to where you could be successful running up the middle, that's when they go off tackle. And it's like, are y'all not even paying attention? Like, uh, um, that's just a frustration of mine, bro. But yes, you are correct. We have number one rushing attack. And that kind of goes back. I don't know if you listen to me a lot, Frosty. If you don't, make sure you subscribe and become a member of my team. You will know. My rule is this: if we're winning, you're nitpicking. If you're losing, that's when you complain. So what I'm doing right now is just nitpicking. That's my bias as a running back. I played in the 90s. I played with Seth Joyner and Randall Cunningham and all of that. So the mindset was different back then. But the basic prerequisites and the basic logic of an offense and how you run and all of that type of stuff is the same. That doesn't change. That's why I look at what San Francisco does. I look at what Tampa Bay does. I look at all these other teams and I compare them to what we're doing. And it frustrates me. That's just me. Because I want to see Saquon have 2,500 yards. And he could have got damn close, but we didn't run him right. So we missed some opportunities and didn't really let him loose until like the fifth or the sixth game of the year. Why we wait so long? You know why we waited? Because they were still trying to be a passing first team. And everybody and their mama saw what we saw. And it's just like trying to get through that coach's ego that says, I'm going to do it my way. And this is the way that's going to be. And it's not. And what was really frustrating for me is looking at Kellen Moore. And I look at what Kellen Moore used to do when he was with Dallas. And I've said this many times. Dallas used to kick our ass with they play action. They used to stick that ball out and they would run Zeke off tackle 2-3 times and they would run this play. It was play action. They would fake it to Zeke off tackle to the right, and the tight end would slip flat down the line of scrimmage and just drift out into no man's land. And all our linebackers was flowing the other way because they thought Zeke was getting the ball. And they would dump it off to that line, to that tight end, and it would be at least 10 yards almost every play. And they would kill us on that 2-3 times every time we played them. Every time. But it all set up with them giving the ball to Zeke off tackle. And I'm like, how come everybody else does this but us? Everybody else does this but us. So, you know, that's what I bitch, bone, and complain about. But I'm nitpicking though. So it's all good, man. I appreciate you that you like the comment, bro. For sure. So yeah, it's all talk. It's all politics, man. It's ego, dude. That's all it is. It's ego. It's ego, and I understand it though. I understand it. It's just frustrating, but I understand it because you got to think Kellen Moore been doing whatever he's been doing what made him successful. So he gonna stick with it. But you'll see the coaches, and I give just on the flip side of that. Look at what Vic Fangio's doing. Look at what Vic Fangio's doing. Think back on when Vic Fangio left Miami, and everybody down there, all the players down there has such and such to say. They was kicking rocks and good to get rid of them and good riddance and all of that. They had the bad attitudes. They didn't like them. All of that type of stuff. He only had the Miami defense ranked number 10 in the NFL. Where they rank now? And now we got the number 1 defense in the league. Huh. What did those two things have in common? So maybe Vic Fangio wasn't the problem. But what he's done is he's come up here, and the one thing I say, it looks like Vic Fangio has made the right decisions and made the right adjustments as the year has gone on. And our defense has gotten better and better and better. And we've got somebody on offense and defense. Vic Fangio, to me, is operating like Jeff Stoutland is with our offensive line. He knows who's ready. He knows who's not. And he keeps it 100. He keeps it real with you. If you ain't doing it in practice, if I don't see what I'm looking for, you're not playing. And he's getting the best out of these guys. We didn't know what was going to happen. Think about last year with the Philadelphia Eagles. Hassan Reddick, gone. Fletcher Cox, gone. Brandon Graham, out for the year. And nobody thought that Nolan Smith was going to do what he did. Nobody thought that Jalen Carter, you knew he was good, that nobody knew he was this good. Milt Williams, balling. Ajomo, balling. Josh Sweat, balling. Jalix Hunt. People was looking at us sideways for even drafting him. Balling. Do I even need to talk about Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond? Everybody thought Zach Bond was coming up here to be a special teams guy. Shout out to my man Tone DeShields. Me and Tone talked about that in camp last year. We was like, that's a dark horse right there. Because every time I watched him in the New Orleans, every time I saw him on the field in New Orleans, he made the most of the opportunities he got. He didn't get a lot of tape at linebacker, but every time he was on the field, he was making stuff happen. And I was like, he's a player. He just ain't had his opportunity. Zach Bond was a victim of the numbers game. If you've never heard that, what that means is you got people ahead of you that's got these big contracts, so the team is going to play them because it would cost them too much money not to. So you got to play because you done gave the person the contract, you paying them the money. That's like having AJ Brown and then saying, you know, we're not going to play you. You got to play him. That's what Zach Bond got caught up into in New Orleans. He got lost in the sauce. So what did he do? He came up here, and I guarantee you what they told him was, we're going to give you an opportunity to play. And nobody knew what was going to happen because right after they did that, then they signed we drafted Jeremiah Trotter Jr. So he had the hype because everybody wanted Trotter Jr. to play. Then you bring Zach Bond up here. Then they signed Devin White. And again, credit to Vic Fangio for seeing what nobody else could see. Because we was all saying the same thing. What the hell is going on with Devin White? Why ain't you playing him? Why ain't you dress him? Why didn't you play him in Tampa Bay? When he didn't play in Tampa Bay, I was like, hold up. Something ain't right. You don't even let this man play in his revenge game? Something ain't right. And here was the telltale sign for me. For me, Devin White must have knew the writing on the wall because he didn't say a word. And he don't strike me as the kind that'll hold his tongue. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong, but he didn't say a word about it. And that lets me know that coaches must have had him pegged. Something was going on that they didn't like. And I don't know if he wasn't budging. I don't know what it was. But guess what? Vic Fangio stuck to his guns, and that joker didn't step on the field. He didn't get not one snap. And you know what? We the number one defense in the league. How does that look? And guess what? They got a chance to ship him out. And where did they ship him to? What, Chicago? So it's situations like that where you got to take a step back and you got to stop listening to 97.5 and you got to stop listening to WIP and you got to stop listening to us on YouTube because we don't know every damn thing. And you got to start trusting the people in the building. And here's the one thing that people forget, and they forget because of the radio noise, the WIP, the 97.5, and the YouTube noise, because that noise is louder than it's ever been. But what they tend to forget is the people in the building get paid a lot of money because they are good. They are the best at what they do, period. That's why they get paid all of that money. So a lot of times for me, and you always know this, when I hear people, you see in the media, you see Good Morning Football and First Take and all of these shows, they going off, and Shannon Sharp with Uncle Ojo. Everybody got an opinion, but that's all it is opinions. Shannon Sharp, he'll tell his stories based on his experience, based on his personality. But at the end of the day, he just guessing like everybody else. Shannon Sharp's opinion ain't no better than mine. You just guessing. So you got to remember that the people in the building are the best best it is at what they do. And the ones that aren't usually get promoted to fan pretty quick. Pretty quick. That's 100% Blunt. It doesn't mean they're always executing. That's why I said what I said. And when you look at what happened in what's going on in Chicago. Why wasn't Matt Eberflus fired last season? So they wasted half a season. They wasted half a season. They're gonna get a new coach, and they're gonna be right back to square one next year because somebody's gonna bring in another offensive coordinator, and Caleb Williams has to learn a whole nother offense all over again. And most people don't really understand how supremely difficult that is to do. Whether you like Kellen Moore or not, I want Kellen Moore back here next season because I want Jalen Hurts in the same system for 2 years in a row. Look at what he did the second year with Steichen. When the quarterback comes back and he's in the same offense for a consecutive year, he's already got the answers to the test. So you ain't got to think as much. Same thing. I said the same thing with Steichen. Steichen's second year with Jalen Hurts, that was the first time in his career, college or pro, that he had the same offensive coordinator for a second consecutive year. All the way through college, it was a new offense every year, new offense. Something new every year. And he finally has some stability, and he gets to the ultimate. And it wasn't because of his play in the Super Bowl. It was because the defense let us down. He outplayed Mahomes. But you got to put it together. How do we lose in the Super Bowl? Defense, special teams. You got to have all three phases together. Offense, defense, special teams. It can't be 2 out of 3. And what happened? He put the ball on the ground, but he made up for it. Defense couldn't get home. And then we had that bullshit punt return late in the game that cost us in the second half. And that's what cost us the Super Bowl. So, we got our issues. But again, we still got the number one offense. The number one defense in the league, and defense wins championships. As much issues or as many issues as the 49ers have, they put 34 on Detroit. 34. Now, I'd be curious. I'd have to check the rankings. I don't know what Detroit's where's the defense rank? Let me see if I can look that up. Team defense. We number one. Okay, 49ers ranked second. 49ers ranked second defense. Second in the league. Right behind us. What's the offense looking like? San Francisco, they got to be down with that. But okay, so Detroit put up 40 against the second-ranked defense in the league. Because Jahmyr Gibbs, that boy gets shot out of a cannon. But I look at Jahmyr Gibbs, now mind you, easier said than done. But when I look at Jahmyr Gibbs, that's the same situation as Derrick Henry. If you can get to him and make him change directions before he hits the line of scrimmage, you got a shot. Changes what he's got to do. But he's a lot more explosive than Derrick Henry is. But they can get got, man. San Francisco put up 34 on them. I guess 27 really, because they scored like with less than a minute left. So that was garbage time. So but San Francisco was hanging for a minute if it wasn't for that interception that Purdy threw. So I'm looking at everything in the macro because I'm looking at, now I'm not watching film on freaking the Giants. I ain't gonna watch film on them. I'm gonna watch film tomorrow on what Saquon did, and then immediately I'm looking at all of these teams that we might face in the playoffs because it looks like it's either gonna be Washington or was it Minnesota? Or no, I think it's either Washington or Tampa Bay. And we itching to get payback on Tampa Bay. But even that game against Tampa Bay, if I remember correctly, Baker Mayfield was getting the ball out of his hands in less than 3 seconds every play. Every play was a short pass. And we couldn't stop Bucky Irvin. Bucky Irvin had a good game. Saquon, they didn't run him enough because we was trying to play catch up. And we started out slow and all of that type of stuff. We had 13 yards in the first half or something goofy like that. It was something ridiculous. And we shot ourselves in the foot, all of that type of stuff. So, it was what it was. Our defense is injured. I'm taking it you a Detroit fan? Yes, your defense is injured. Absolutely. The Detroit Lions have had the worst season when it comes to injuries, I think, than anybody in the league right now. So yes, that is a valid point. However, it doesn't matter because everybody goes through that. Detroit just got it worse than anybody else this year. That's the hand y'all been played. And guess what? Y'all still 14-2. So credit to y'all, but is that going to be something that comes back to bite you? I don't know. Can you outscore everybody? So we'll see how that comes up. Because it doesn't matter if you say, well, if our defense would have stayed healthy, staying healthy is part of the game. It's not the best team at the end, it's the healthiest team at the end. So your offense is tight. The defense is what needs work. And what do I say? Defense wins championships, man. Defense wins championships. Yeah, Blunt. Cautious, they came to win and just play ball. That's what it is. Everybody talking about what we gonna do with Saquon. Listen, me personally, I would put everybody on ice because we don't have a bye week. They do. Detroit's gonna get a bye week. We don't get that option. So this is our bye week. And I would rather sit everybody and rest everybody. And check out my video about check out my video. I'll bring it up. Check out my video about Saquon chasing the wrong one. Everybody talking about Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson ain't the one. Eric Dickerson ain't the one. This is the one right here, man. Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis is the one, not Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson can have the record as far as I'm concerned. Terrell Davis, the only 2,000-yard rusher with a Super Bowl ring. That's who we chasing, not Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson didn't sniff the Super Bowl. Didn't get close. This is TD is where it's at. So here's mine, because I know people asking, this is the question: do you play Saquon and go after it like you think Blunt, or do you ice him? I say ice him. Don't play your starters. However, we're not going to play this. We'll let him get a couple carries in the first half. If he gets it, he gets it. Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. No. If you're going to play your starters, play your starters. If you're going to do it, do it. Go full tilt with it. Everybody starting, everybody playing. You get it done. But don't bullshit with it. It ain't going to be, we're going to play him the first half and we're going to pull everybody out. Nah. If you want to see Jalen get out, if Jalen goes out there because you want to get him some play time, all the first team starters are out there. Devontae, AJ, Saquon, Mekhi, LJ, everybody, our first team is out there, and you play the game. When you play not to get hurt, that's when you get hurt. So to me, my opinion is you sit your starters and let everybody get whatever rest that we can get. But if you gonna play them, put your starters in there and bang it. Run them over. There's no reason that the New York Giants should be able to hang with us. So whatever you decide, if you're gonna ice them, sit everybody down, do what you got to do, because we're not gonna gain no ground from beating down on the Giants. That's the thing. If we can still get that number 1 seed and get that bye week, that would make sense. But with Detroit handling their business and the way things fell, we can't improve our positioning anymore. So it doesn't make any sense. And you got to take in consideration Murphy's Law. Sounds funny, but man, the last thing you want is some idiot on the New York Giants giving a little extra on a tackle. And next thing you know, Saquon is, limping off, or look at what happened to Smitty. When the dude pushed him down and he coming up, his wrist is hurting, or you don't want none of that. You do not leave that possibility on the table. You take that possibility off. And the only way you take it off is you ice all your starters and let the backups play. Let Tanner McKee get some more snaps. Let's do that. Let's let the young boys at wide receiver. I want to see Shipley in there. I want to see Kenny Gainwell and Will Shipley. I want to see all of them get some run. And yeah, I want to see Keely Ringo playing more. Like, that's the stuff I want to see. I want to see Trot Jr. get in there and get some, we need to see all of that. These young boys need to get some snaps. So if you're going to ice them, ice them. But don't do the half step and stuff. Don't come in and try to play them for a half. Don't do that. I don't want to see that. Either go full tilt or don't go at all. So, yeah, Blunt, you play football like a player, and like I said, me personally, I would want to go for the record, but I'm 54 years old now, so I'm a little bit older and wiser than what I was when I was, 24, 25 playing with the Eagles. So I understand how the sausage is made now, bro. And I'm telling you, if Murphy's Law says if we get out there and we somebody gets dinged up, AJ gets dinged up, Devontae gets dinged up, anything can happen. So for me, I don't begrudge anybody that want to go for it and play for it. If they do, I'm all for it, man. Let's get the record. If you're going to do it, do it. I'm just saying I wouldn't, because the rest is too important. And what we do in the big scheme of things is too important. You can go down the line, and and again, check out this video because I talk about all of the great players, NFL Hall of Famers, that never sniffed a Super Bowl. They got the record, they got their ring, they got the Hall of Fame ring, they got all of that type of stuff. And to a man, they would trade it for a chance to win a Super Bowl. And that's what we got. We are the number 1 team in the NFL right now. We got the number 1 back, and we got the number 1 defense. You can't squander that opportunity because you're going for a record. But if they want to do it, I'm all for it. I wouldn't do it. It's too much on the line. And again, you trying to do it against the Giants. So you know that game is going to be chippy. You know it's going to be people talking shit. And let me speak from experience. Some of the shit that happens to running backs at the bottom of piles, it just ain't fair. And eventually, I don't know what it was. I don't know who was playing. It was a college game where it was towards the end of the game, and one of the kids literally stepped on this dude's ankle on purpose and jacked that dude's ankle up. Shit like that happens all the time. And that's the last thing I want, is somebody coming in, stepping on fingers, toes, anything like that. They already know that Jalen Hurts has got a bad finger. You don't think somebody gonna smack at that finger or try to stomp on that finger when he's getting up off the ground? Why you think all of these offensive linemen, when the quarterback goes in and he slides or takes a hit to the ground, why do you think they're always running over there to get him? Because a lot of the stupid injuries and the little nicky knack things that can nick you up and just give you annoying injuries happens when you're trying to peel off the tacklers. Somebody gets up and then steps on your hand, or trying to stick their fingers in your mouth or something like that under the helmet. Dude, I'm telling you. So again, you take that possibility away. I don't want no. I don't want the possibility that we Monday morning we're bitch moaning, complaining because Jalen Hurts or Devontae Smith or AJ Brown got dinged up on a play against the freaking Giants when it didn't matter, when the game doesn't matter. That's the problem. The game doesn't matter. If we still had something to gain, I would have a totally different attitude, but the game doesn't matter. If we win or if we lose, we still number 2 seed, and we nothing can change from it. So if the Giants beat us, the only thing they do is screw up their draft status for next year's draft. That's all they doing. We good. So, they're gonna make their decision. That'll be the topic of conversation all week. Um, and I think Sirianni will make the right decision. Saquon showed you what his personality is like when we played the Giants earlier in the year. Let the young guys eat. That's all you need to know. So he'll be down for whatever, and I'm good with that. Yes, I am concerned a little bit about Jalen Hurts knocking off the rust. However, um, look at Kenny Pickett from the Washington game to the Cowboys game. Look at the difference in play. Look at the difference in confidence. Him moving around, throwing the ball downfield, all of that stuff. Look at the difference between and what it means when you get a week's worth of reps with the ones. So yes, I would like to see him play, but again, you either do it or you don't. If you don't want to play Jalen Hurts, I'll take my chances with him getting 2 weeks worth of practice with the ones. I'm good with that. He's had enough football to know what it is and how it works. So I'm good with that. We just got to keep like he likes to say, we got to keep the main thing the main thing. And for us, the main thing is Saquon leads the offense. So that first series, me personally, and again, this is my bias as a former running back. I want to see run, pass, run. I don't want to see pass, run, pass. The first play, I want to see Saquon pitched out to the right, hauling the ass around the edge and trying to hit that corner. That's the first play I want to see. I don't want to see it up the middle because that's what they waiting on. I want to see him stretch the defense out. I want to see him pitch him outside, then run off tackle, and then set up some type of counter trap where he gets everybody outside, then he cuts it up right behind Jurgens. That's what I want to see. Make everybody flow first. Then you can spread him out and you can let him do what he does best. That's how you set him up. That's how you set him up. And then your play action is there. Because you done soften them up a little bit. Because here comes Saquon. Linebackers got to come fill. They don't want to let Saquon get outside or get behind them. So the linebackers got to step up. And what happens when the linebackers step up? That means you get about 5 more yards of space behind the linebackers. That zone is wide open. And that's when you send AJ around on the cross, on the slants, or you send in Devontae on that deep end, that 10-yard, that 8 to 15-yard middle behind the linebackers. One step in the wrong direction on defense is about 3 yards worth of space. And that's what we need. But that's how you open them up. You got to run the ball first. Run the ball first. Everybody else is doing it. I don't understand why we can't. So, um, so yeah, a little bit of rust, but I'm not. Jalen's played enough football. You know what I'm saying? He's played enough football. If it's somebody like Tanner McKee or Kenny Pickett or something like that, yeah. But I'm not worried about that with Jalen Hurts. Not worried about that at all. So, um, and we've had more success when we start the game. Tempo. If you're gonna pass it with tempo. Start the game with no huddle. And let's go. Let's go. Let's go. The easiest way to warm up is just smash it down the defense's throat. Just run at them. Run at them. Make the defense chase. How do you make them chase? Get your running back outside. It's not a complicated solution. We make it complicated with trying to even look at the play tonight. Now Detroit ran it successfully. They ran that trick play where they threw the ball and he lateraled it to the receiver. They practiced that play. And they've gotten good at running those gadget plays. But the law of averages say eventually somebody gonna catch him. Eventually somebody gonna see it coming. So you can only go to that well a few times before it bites you in the butt. You look at what Atlanta did the other night. You in the red zone and you want to go wildcat. Why? And then the center snaps it over Bijan's head. Why would you even put yourself in that position? Again, you want to take that possibility off the table. The possibility exists that when your quarterback is not taking the snap, something can go wrong. The possibility shoots through the roof. The odds of that happening shoot through the roof. So take that just run the plays like you got Bijan Robinson, bro. Let him run to the corner to get in the end zone. Don't make it complicated. Don't try to get cute. None of that. Do what got you there. And it seems like us and other teams. I mean, it's not just the Eagles, but it's a lot of teams that do that. It's great if it works, but when it don't, everybody got something to say. And that game last night, Atlanta had some opportunities that they screwed up because they tried to get too cute. That's just how I see it. So, what else did I? Just a couple more things in my notes. Just like everybody else, Detroit's got their comfort zone in Sam Laporta, they tight end. Getting the ball to their tight end because he's nasty. He's a nasty tight end. So you got to watch that. Along with Amon St. Brown. Amon-Ra. Was it Amon-Ra St. Brown? So just like us, you got to pick your poison. Jahmyr Gibbs, St. Brown, Laporta. You got to pick your poison. We have an advantage on offense because Jalen Hurts can run. Jared Goff ain't running, but he knows how to get rid of that ball. So Packers are a dangerous first-round team. We are better than the Cowboys, but we saw last year. Hey, listen, man, I'm not scared about look what happened to Green Bay the other day. They got exposed too. So there is no team that I'm afraid of right now, especially when your defense is playing like our defense is playing. There is not a team that I am afraid of. So, hey, bring it on, whoever it is. If it's Green Bay, if it's Tampa Bay, if it's Washington again. You know, he got that game from the other day, Jaden Daniels. They beat us, luckily. And as bad as we played in the second half, they still barely beat us. They still got lucky. So, I mean, we could have iced that game, but we dropped the ball on that, literally. We are 2 drop passes away from having one loss. being 15-1 right now. 2 drop passes. That is literally the difference. It wasn't a penalty. It wasn't a bad play. It wasn't a bad referee call. None of that. We are literally 2 drop passes. Saquon catches that pass against Atlanta. We score. Game's over. Devontae Smith catches that ball across the middle, hits him in the hands. Nobody's around him. He either scores or they get him and we run out the clock. Game over. 2 drop passes from being a 1-loss team. I ain't scared of nobody. I ain't scared of nobody. Jalen Carter is demanding a double team every time he's on the field. So Milt Williams, Josh Sweat, and Nolan Smith are eating. Our secondary is tops. Quinyon Mitchell, man, it ain't in the cards for you to get a pick this year. Earlier in the year, C.J. Garner-Johnson cost him a pick. Against Dallas, that was all C.J. Both those balls were C.J., especially the second one, because they were both in the same vicinity, but C.J. Garner-Johnson had the inside track, and Quinyon was right behind him. But that was C.J.'s ball. So, luck of the draw, bro. You just keep putting everybody on lock. They got away with a couple things on you against the Cowboys, and they got some good. Got you a couple times against Washington as well. But you can't lock down everybody all the time because the other guys get paid too. So, not worried about the Vikings either. Nope. Until the Vikings come across a top defense, I'm not concerned about the Vikings either. So I don't see, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're not a good team because they should be worried about us. They should be worried about us. So there's nobody that I'm scared of. We at this point right now, we don't have many holes in our game. We don't have many holes in our game. Do you think the Big Oaks can sneak in for a 7th seed? I'm hoping Burrow is balling out. I hope so, because that's my hometown. I always, I will hoo they all day. That's where I'm from, Cincinnati, man. So I always show love to my Bengals, but I hope they can sneak in. I know they need some help. So they got to, if they handle their business and win this last game, and then whoever's got to lose, win, or however that shakes out, I hope they get an opportunity, because that's another team that don't nobody want to really face. I shouldn't say that because, I feel bad for Joe Burrow. He's from Cincinnati. He's a local kid. But Cincinnati just cannot seem to get it together with either offensive line or the defense. If Joey Burrow had an offensive line half as good as ours was, it'd be ridiculous. But when you taking 6 and 7 and 8 sacks a game, good Lord. But it's been the defense has been letting them down. Defense has been letting them down all year. So Cincinnati should have had at least 2 or 3 more wins this year, but the defense let them down in the second half. But that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes sometimes. Broncos need to lose and the Dolphins need to lose. That could happen. I'm not a Broncos fan anyways. Ever since I saw Sean Payton do what he did to Russ Wilson, I was like, come on, man. You can't be bullying nobody. But Bo Nix looks good. Bo Nix looks good. So they got an opportunity. But I don't know who I don't know who the Broncos play, and I don't know who the Dolphins play. Dolphins are bipolar, man. Tua's good. Like, they just can't seem to put it together. So we'll see what happens. I hope they can sneak in. Because they can shock a lot of people, man. Their defense has just gotta show something. They gotta show something. So we'll see what happens, man. This is, we got 1 week left, and then everybody starts over. Everybody starts over. So Broncos play the Chiefs. Chiefs second string. That's a good point, Blunt. Yeah. Might not work out. The numbers might not work out because the Broncos ain't beating the Chiefs. Well, yeah, Chiefs are locked in too. So yeah, you're right. They might beat the Chiefs if they play in the second strings at home. We'll see. We'll see. I hope the Bengals make it in, but it might be too little, too late. And they had a couple games, man. They should have beat Baltimore. They should have beat what was the other game that they played? They should have won, and it just just wasn't meant to be. I can't think of who it was. I just remember seeing, you know, Joey Burrow's, you know, gas face on the sideline because he played well enough to win, and the defense couldn't seal it. So, but we got one more week, and then it starts over. Everybody starts at square one. So, um, we'll see what's going to happen, man. We'll see what's going to happen. Yeah, that was it, man. Sam Laporta is as dangerous as Kittles or Kelsey. San Francisco was having success getting their running backs outside and off tackle. I talked about that before. Garendo was having a good game, short to mid passing games when you can get those linebackers to step up. This is all stuff that we talk about every week. Every week. That should be the basics of an offense going up against anybody. So we'll see what the Eagles can do. We'll see what the Eagles can do. But it was interesting, just looking at the game and just like, okay, pulling some bits and pieces. So I'm gonna be going over some game film tomorrow, probably around lunchtime. So we'll see. But I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Go to sleep. Gotta work the morning. But yeah, man, appreciate y'all jumping in with me, man. This was impromptu. Didn't think I was gonna do this, but just has a lot of stuff in my head going. Wrote down some notes, and I was like, let's just roll with it. So, especially popping on this late, man. So, I'm gonna get up out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. If I don't see you, have a safe and happy new year. And we will see you in 2025. We're gonna keep doing this thing big, man. We're gonna keep growing and keep grinding. I will talk to y'all later. See you tomorrow. Go Birds.